All right, hello. My name is Carmen Braden. I'm talking to you from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories in the northern part of Canada. And I'm here as a member of the Canadian Association for Sound Ecology. And I'm just figuring out this Google Hangouts thing, so give me a second. Let me see if I can make it work. Oh, I'm screen sharing. I'm gonna get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? Sorry, hold on for a second. Or screen sharing. Okay, I don't want to be screen sharing. I want to show you my face. How do I show you? Okay, I'm assuming you can see my face. Or if nothing else, you can just see the screen that I'm seeing. Awesome, thanks. All right, so I'm here talking to you with the Canadian Association for Sound Ecology, or CASE. We're a group, an affiliate of the World Forum for Acoustic Ecology, and we did a project that I want to talk to you about called Audio Postcards Canada. And I've asked Jeb to put the link in the video. If you can get that up, that's awesome. If not, you can just Google audio postcards at soundecology.ca, and you'll see our exhibit. Now, it launched live today. Today being World Listening Day and Murray Schafer's birthday, our Canadian grandfather of acoustic ecology. And so I'm going to tell you about this project for the next little while. So this project was started about a year ago, and we got this idea from the 60 by 60 model that had been used in a variety of different ways. But we wanted something a little more substantial, a little more focused. So we put out a call, an international call for audio postcards. And the only two limitations for these postcards were that one, it had to be under 2 minutes, and a maximum or minimum of 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes. And then the other limitation was that they had to be using sounds that were recorded in Canada. So they could be made by anybody in the world, but the sounds themselves had to be from within the Canadian borders. And so we got 87 of these submitted to us from people outside of Canada, within Canada, from across the country. And we did a selection process where we had three professionals: Tyler Kinnear, a sound researcher in Vancouver, Stephanie Lovelace, and Charlie Fox, both great audio artists, to look at all of these works and then select 16. So if you click on that link, you'll go to our exhibit, or at least a blog that will get you to the exhibit. So they chose 16, and what we then did was take those 16 works, and within the CASE organization, really led by our chair, Andrea Dancer, we organized these into an online exhibit, which is what we've created and just launched today. And Andrea was our curator. I was the project lead for it, and we had other members of the team working on promotion and building the site itself. And then it's launched today. I'll take you on a little bit of an explanation of a couple of the features that I find the most exciting. The first one being the audio themselves. So on the audio website, you'll see little images, which we're calling the postcards. And if you can click on any of them to play right on the home page, and then if you click an arrow button, it's like you're flipping an actual postcard over, and you get information about the artist and their audio, their work of art on the back. And then you can come back to the home page. It's as if you had all of these spread out on a table in front of you, and you could flip them over at different times or listen. You can move around while the sound's still playing, and so you can really explore through our exhibit. Now, three other components to this are some behind the scenes, or some invitations to think more deeply about listening and the project itself in the context of sound ecology in the world today. The first of which I think is one of our proudest features, and something we're really privileged to be able to share, is an introduction by Hildegard Westerkamp, a Canadian soundscape composer who worked with Murray Schafer in the 70s through the 80s, and is really one of the champions and the real she was setting the tone, and still does set the tone for a lot of thought about sound. So she gives us this beautiful introduction, this invitation to listening, she calls it, she starts with this wonderful line, "Dear listener," and for, you know, if I really encourage you to read this if you've heard anything about Hildegard's work, whether it's her writings or her compositions themselves, or had a chance to meet her as a really beautiful, gentle person. This is a real treasure, this introduction that she's given us. Andrea Dancer, our fearless curator, has created her own statement about the curation, and she gets into some really interesting ideas about how she curated, concepts of listening, all these different ways we can listen through microphones, through disassociation from space, now that we've put these sounds onto the internet. A bit of a critique on the works themselves, and gives us her insights as our curator into these beautiful little succinct pieces. And then we have interviews with each of the three jurors. We've gone back to them a few months later and asked them for their reactions about choosing these works. How do you actually compare sounds, and maybe how did they decide that this one particular sound really brought themselves as the listener into a new place? And so this project really was about bringing, connecting all these different facets of our acoustic environment, from the sounds themselves and the places they are, to the humans that were listening, how they were listening, how they captured it, and then how they then took that work and filtered it, sent it back out into the world as these audio pieces of artwork, these really miniatures, I like to think of them. Just checking my time, a couple minutes, great. So there's interviews with each of them, and they both go in. All three of them go into their own work. So if you're interested in some other Canadians that are working in sound, this is a great place to go to get introductions to their work. And that's the project as a whole. But one of the things that we're doing to launch today is sharing this all over social media, which has been really fun to watch. And there's also some live events that we're holding. This being one of them. Very cool. Thank you, SoundCon and Jeb, for putting this together and having me on here. There's live events here in Yellowknife. We're going for a sound walk. It's really smoky in the air right now, which for me brings a lot of interest of we have a lot of forest fires up here, which is a natural part of the ecosystem, but it's a forest fire that's a long ways away, maybe 50 kilometers, but the smoke is being blown by the wind here. And so with that kind of olfactory sense, my nose is actually talking to my ear a bit, and I'm thinking, what does this sound like? This forest fire that's taking up, that's burning not too far from my town. There's a really fantastic launch in Vancouver where one of the jurors, Tyler Kinnear, and Hildegard and Andrea Dancer are all coming to the CMC House in Vancouver to do a presentation on this. So if you're in Vancouver, I highly recommend checking that out. There's also events that are going to happen in Edmonton, and our website tells you more about that. So that's kind of the long and the short of Audio Postcards Canada. So once again, it's on the soundecology.ca website, hosted by Case, curated by Andrea Dancer. It's been a really interesting project to be part of, and what me personally I found really satisfying about it is seeing these different people that have contributed come from so many different places and have such varied backgrounds. There were people who were very committed audio artists, but there were people that just were recording things with their iPhone and captured it and then came across us and sent it in. So my satisfaction from this, and what I hope might be yours as well, is getting a sense of all these different people that are listening across, in this case, across Canada, and how they've heard their soundscape, their sonic environment, and then how they've wanted to bring it forward to us. So check it out if you can. Thanks again for SoundCon for having me here, and looking forward to the rest of the presentations and checking everything out online afterwards. So thanks from Yellowknife. Oh, right. Sweet. We're into questions. What does listening across the country do for the process of listening and understanding? Oh, this is a great heavy one. This was one of the questions that came up was can we actually listen differently as a country? And Hildegard answers this a little bit, but from my sense, it might be as a feeling a bit of pride, as Murray Schafer's Canadian, Hildegard is Canadian. A lot of initial ideas that have broadened across the globe started in Vancouver, and my own experience in traveling across the country, talking to different people about listening. I think we can create a listening culture that can maybe be expanded to different places within the country, or have reaches even beyond that. So if there's a specific mode of listening within Canada, I'm not sure if it's something as stereotypical as we have lots of nature and so we know how to listen to nature. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's more of a subconscious understanding of the space that we have in between larger human concentrations, and how within that space, is it a void? Is it full of sound? Is it full of life, or is it empty? I think these are things that are very personal, but that personal sense of space within a boundary like a country comes from ideas about nationalism and the history of the place itself. I'm trying to see if I answered that question. It went away. But I hope that answers that. Sure. There it is. Yeah, I think my experience in connecting to the World Forum for Acoustic Ecology has done a bit to erase the boundaries of listening at a national level, and I think that's more akin to what the actual state of the soundscape is. There's no limit at the border, and so the Vancouver is basically right beside Washington State, and so the soundscapes of these two places are pretty blurred. So I hope that one of the things we can do with this kind of a project is expand it. So Audio Postcards Canada might actually, maybe we can take a next step to blur boundaries of something like a border, a national border that really only exists in the minds of humans, or in walls. So I think it's possible to listen collectively as a country, but my goal would be to listen beyond that.